Today's episode is one for the history books. If you've ever wondered whether it's really possible to discharge debt or why the system seems rigged to profit off your hardship, listen closely. I'm joined by Grand Sheik Antoine Davis Bay,
Slow.
here to break down unlimited credit, the legal power of your signature, and how to operate lawfully in a financial system most people don't even know exists. Welcome, Grand Sheik.
Thank you for having me. What's up? How you doing?
I'm
Islam.
well. Okay, so let's start with the basics. When you say unlimited credit, what does that actually mean?
Okay, when I say limited credit, I'm not talking about high limit credit cards. I'm talking about our inherent ability to create credit, which is legally and commercially, because we are the true source of value in this system. Every time we sign a promissory note, a loan agreement, or even a utility contract, we are creating what they call a negotiable instrument that banks monetize. The system isn't lending us money, it's using our signature to generate credit. So technically, we have unlimited credit because we are the credit, if that makes sense.
Okay. Most people believe credit is what banks gives us.
Facts.
You say it's what we create.
Facts.
Can you explain that idea?
I absolutely right. So the misconception is that the bank is giving you something, when in reality, your signature on the loan or credit agreement is what creates the asset. The signed document becomes a security, and the bank turns around and deposit it as an asset on their books. They get paid up front from the Federal Reserve System. So you gave them value, right? And then they charge you to pay it back plus interest. That's not lending. That's credit creation, just using your energy. You feel me?
Okay. So what happened in 1933 that changed how we deal with money and the debt in the United States?
Okay, so let's go back. Now, in 1933, the Great Depression, the U.S. government declared bankruptcy, which most people don't know. President Roosevelt removed the gold standard, which meant people could no longer pay debts in gold or silver. Now, to protect themselves and the people, they issued House Joint Resolution 192 was passed. That resolution basically says if the government removed the lawful money, which is the silver and gold coins in Article 1, Section 10, then the government becomes responsible for all public and private debt. So, in other words, you can't be forced to pay something that no longer exists, such as the gold standard. So, they have to give you a remedy through discharging, basically.
Okay. Can you explain how House Joint Resolution 192 gave people the right to discharge debt?
Of course, I can. Let's talk about it. So, HJR 192 gave us the lawful right to settle obligations
Okay.
without actual money, which is silver and gold coins. Instead, we use credit instruments. So we're not using metal, silver, and gold coins. We're using things like promissory notes, money orders, even bonds to discharge debt. So we thinking we paying the debt, but we really just discharging the debt. These instruments only offset the obligation. So technically, you're not paying anything. All your debts are being discharged because the real value is coming from you, not from the bank. The system operates on your trust and energy. They just never taught us, the people, how to apply the law so we can get remedy.
So when you say the United States government is responsible for our debts, how is that enforced?
It's enforced through commercial law,
Okay.
particularly the Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC. That's the legal system that governs all banking, credit, and commerce in the U.S. When you operate in commerce, right, and you understand the rules of the game, you can use this to set off discharge and other lawful remedies. You're not avoiding the debt. We're lawfully settling the debt, setting off the debt using the tools Congress put in place back in 1933.
What role does the Uniform Commercial Code play in this?
Okay, the UCC is basically the backbone of our monetary and credit system. It defines what money is and what money is not. So we always assume that US dollar bills are money, but those are dollar bills, same as the bills you get in your mail. That's called a bill of exchange. Now, under Article 3 and 9, promissory notes, negotiable instruments, and security agreements are the real currency and commercial law, basically. So when you sign that note, the car note, mortgage, have whatever it is, you was creating a debt instrument that holds commercial value. So that's how credit is created in exchange on the back end, on the private side. What we know and what we've been playing with is called fiat currency, which is paper money. So all paper is basically money in the United States.
Okay. So pretty much similar to like Monopoly.
That's exactly what this game is Monopoly.
Okay. So you said that a promissory note is money. How?
Okay, so the promissory note has value and it can be deposited, it can be negotiated, which means traded or transferred, and it can be sold in the securities market, meaning people actually buy your promissory note. They buy your promise. So that's valuable to an investor who's just trying to make some money without working. So basically, they can buy your note, and then when you pay the interest rates, the investor makes a profit off the interest. So that's why banks don't mind lending, because they're not really giving you anything. They're monetizing your note and getting paid. Your signed promissory note becomes a bank asset, and they issue you so-called credit, which is just an accounting entry in their books. So they never gave you what they call consideration, something tangible like metal, like valuable metal. They gave you a book entry, so they just magically typed something in the computer and it credits to your account. So technically, you created the money. They just recycle it back to you with interest attached.
So when we talk about unlimited credit, are we really just talking about power to create money?
Exactly.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's unbelievable, but it's not. It's not about plastic credit cards. It's not about having these incredible high limits. Unlimited credit is about you understanding your legal capacity as the creditor to create and direct your energy, which is the currency, which in this system is done through paper and contracts, which we call negotiable instruments. Every agreement you sign creates a value. So when you say you promise to pay $50K to Chase Bank, Chase Bank now has an asset from you, from your promise, that they can sell on the securities market. So based off your promise, you created the value. When you operate with that awareness, you realize you're not the borrower. The banks is actually borrowing from you. So we have to learn our rights to command them to uphold our equity inside these contracts.
So why don't most people know they can discharge that?
I mean, simply put, because the system is technically not designed to teach us. So since the public education system has been put in place since the Rockefeller Foundation in the early 1900s, it was always meant to have us as employees and consumers. We were taught to be consumers, not creditors. The education system effectively didn't teach us commercial law, trust law, and anything that would make us financially sovereign, because they understood that whoever controlled the money controlled the government. Mm-hmm. So when they formed the central banks in Jekyll Island in the early 1900s, this goes hand in hand with the education system to never teach us these financial literacy about what money is and what money is not. Therefore, they can continue to operate this financial system because it operates off our consumerism. But basically, by us steady buying into their system, we are just basically keeping it going. But the remedies are still there. You just have to reclaim them. And once you do, see, the entire game changes over here on the private side when you know you got this unlimited credit, you feel me?
Yeah, so can someone actually do this today? Sorry.
Absolutely. Like, yes, like facts, you feel me? But they gotta operate a certain way, lawfully and properly. It's not about magic documents or some little loophole, some scam. We ain't cracking credit cards. This really is about educating yourself on banking, because the bank's not going to educate you because you the customer. They trying to take advantage of your low credit scores and charge you extra interest so they can make more money. So it's really all about understanding how to set off obligations, what you call debt, because these things are not really liabilities to you. They're really an asset to you, right? So submitting proper UCC filings, understanding uniform commercial codes, trust, knowing how to communicate with these agencies who you assume was the creditor, giving them proper instructions, knowing how to go to the chief financial officer, the CFOs, and talk like a boss, because you actually own shares in the company when you open accounts with these banks. So I teach this in my master class. And if you visit consciouscollege.org, we giving people step-by-step guidance on this. This is my mission, to uplift fallen humanity by teaching them financial literacy. See, what I'm giving people is real lawful remedy, but it must be done correctly. And that's the reason why a lot of people kind of in this space have tried it and kind of didn't work out, and they kind of abandoned it because they got pushback from the corporations. But when we go back in and study these methods in the laws and things like this, it's the truth. And the truth will set you free. You feel me?
Absolutely. So let me ask you: do you need to proclaim your nationality or correct your status to
Now,
access
see,
this remedy?
I wasn't even. I wasn't even gonna go there, right? Because this remedy is for everybody. Let's say that.
Okay.
But having a nationality is like an advanced layer that you adding on to the situation because they converted you over to a corporation. So every time you receive a bill is in all capital letters. That's because they're addressing you as a corporation, as a U.S. citizen or corporations according to their law. So in the United States Code, Title 22, 6010, it says that actually a U.S. citizen is a corporation. So proclaiming nationality is basically correcting your status and giving you standing as a natural being and not an artificial person, not a corporate fiction. So that remedy makes you pretty much unstoppable and way stronger in this system because now you can control what we call your estate because all this is about is your estate being abandoned and lost at sea. And what we are doing when we proclaim nationality, we are claiming our lost estate that we have inherent rights to. So that definitely is like your ace of spade in this game because you have to separate the corporation from the natural person and control the corporation as a beneficiary of the corporation. And it's a lot that a person have to begin to study, but it's not requested and required, but it is required that you start learning about that because eventually you want to live your life as a creditor and not as a debtor or a corporation.
What's the first step someone should take?
Now that's a great question. What I always say, man, just start by just learning the law. Like really get you a Black's Law dictionary, break that boy out and write down at least 100 words and definitions that you don't know. Because the Black's Law dictionary takes you on a journey. It's like a storybook because history and law goes together. So as you learn the law, history starts to look different to you. Like when you understand being civilly dead, you can actually be dead in the court, like having no rights. That's actually a legal term called civiliter mortuus, to be civilly dead. So when we saying that we black, Negro, colored, we corporations, we're saying we are dead because we saying we have no human rights. So you got to start there because learning the law governs your financial life. People don't know. Law governs all events, says the Circle 7 Quran. So I would say study HJR 192 in its entirety, the history around what happened during the Great Depression, because we wasn't told the real history of that situation. All we know, I was born in the 80s, you know what I'm saying? So all I was told about the 30s was that the people was going through a Great Depression. I never was given the backstory of what happened and how that affects me today. So I would start there to know your history and the law because it goes together. So House Joint Resolution 192 is a great start. The Emergency Banking Act in that time, the Social Security Administration Act, all these things was made in 1933 for a reason. Your Social Security number was invented in 1933. So I would start there. That's a great place to start and go back and forth from there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But that would be like my center point. And then I would definitely study the entire UCC. The Uniform Commercial Codes governs every transaction that we have. So when we purchase things, it's not really a purchase. It's really a secure transaction or a purchase money agreement. So we have to learn these terms. We have to start to talk like bankers and creditors and stop using the debt language. You know what I'm saying? Like we talk Like poor is a state of mind. Broke is being temporary, right? But so like our language is keeping us poor. You feel me? Like by
Yeah.
we speaking like, oh, I got money, I got paid, or I gotta pay these bills. You don't have to pay any bills. You have to endorse your bills and enforce your contractual rights. You have equity to claim. And then we have to learn the taxes, the IRS system on the private side. So understanding these things and then understanding how your signature creates value, then you can connect those with with the proper remedy. So like in my unlimited credit masterclass that we have on Conscious College, we teaches you these things, but first thing first, you have to just unlearn. Like you have to be optimistic, open your mind to a whole new world of things that you may not ever knew. And then once you get the proper knowledge and the steps, then you just have to have courage enough to apply it, because it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a journey. It's not gonna happen overnight for no one. It didn't happen overnight for me. I had to unlearn a lot of things that I just basically just overlooked and thought was innocent, and it really meant a lot of things. Like what I call myself, what I identify as myself as black, even when I'm dealing with banks or any type of financial institution, everything really matters. And it's a lot that person on the other side of the desk might not be telling you, but they probably know and taking advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's very crucial that you just start to learn the law for facts.
Okay. Well, this has been a powerful conversation. Grand Sheik Antoine Davis Bay, thank you for pulling back the curtain on something most of us were never taught. Where can people go to learn more?
I first follow me on social media because I post content about this every day. So on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, my name is Faithful Member. And then on consciouscollege.org, you can get classes that we dropping on Freedom Fridays. Almost every Friday, we dropping a new class. We got a lot of previous class. So if you miss anything, we have everything recorded. The classes come with documents. They very affordable. I made sure that I made them affordable because this information people have monetized to sell to you. And I understand why, because it takes a lot of study hours. It takes a lot of courage to get remedy in this lane. So the prices sometimes be unaffordable, and our people are debt slaves. So a lot of times they can't even afford $100, $200 course, let alone somebody's services of a couple thousand. And that's how much people really worth in this game, because this can really set you free financially. I done help people discharge $100,000 homes, $100,000 cars. You know what I'm saying? That they don't have to pay and work and give their energy for. So my courses are designed to do it yourself, because you have to save yourself in this game. You have to empower yourself to put yourself as a position to help your family. You know what I'm saying? Because once you come across this information, you are the light. You are the chosen one. You are the person who has the destiny to live in truth. Truth is a spirit that we all must accept. So a lot of our people are in darkness. So at Conscious College, we for the conscious community, like-minded people, to come together and build with the Grand Sheik. So tap in with me on social media, on the website. Let's get it cracking. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for the people. And I appreciate this opportunity with you. You interviewing me, you know what I'm saying? Taking your time out, asking these great questions. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can do this again, because the people need this, You feel me?
I'm feeling you. Thank you.
feels short.